Welcome to One.
Hi, my name is Daniela Hart, and I'm a second-year sound designer at the Yale School of Drama, and I am in the class of 2021.
We've just watched a recent example of your work, but before we get to that project, can you talk about how you came to the sound design program at YSD?
I started working at a video game company as Q&A in the sound department. So I was just listening to theme songs for the various games and telling them how it made me feel, which was kind of a great introduction to sound design when you think about it. And also I met who's now my business partner at the time. I met her at an audition, and we kind of left that audition and decided we were interested in making some of our own work. We didn't know what we were doing. She wrote a film, and we decided that I could write a song, even though I had never done that. So we did that. For $200, we made a short film, and it's not the prettiest short film, but it is definitely a labor of love, and it kind of got us down this road of what can't we do in a way, if we really want to and if we really try to learn it together. So that, I would say, really started me down that sound design path, and just started doing more and more shows here in the city. It's where I feel the most collaborative. I get to lift up others' ideas through sound versus come up with all of my own ideas and tell everybody they're great. And composing is just honestly meditative. It's just honestly become one of my favorite things to do.
What are your goals in sound design, and how have specific projects of yours contributed to your goals?
Right before the pandemic began, I had a play, or an opportunity to work on a play in the city called How to Save the World in 90 Minutes. This was with the Cherry Lane Theater Mentor Project, which is an amazing organization. And that piece of theater achieved a couple of goals. One being that I got to work with a 7-piece band, and I got to kind of make that band work in this small space and make it work with instruments kind of right in front of audiences' faces. And the play was, I would say, probably 60% music, so that part was really important. So being able to mix a band and instruments together with 5 singers and create music, joyful music in a space, that's a huge goal of mine. And it's very technical. Another one was this year, I got to work on Kat Yen's thesis show at YSD, and that's called Mr. Burns, which feels incredibly relevant now because it's a play about kind of end of times and how art survives past kind of anything. And so through that process, I got to build some instruments from scratch. We built a Pvc Xylophone that had about, I want to say, 230 feet of PVC kind of coiled around, and we built an upright bass out of a trash can, which was really cool. I mean, we ended up even playing the PVC pipes with spatulas wrapped in rubber. And so just making instruments and the physics of that was something that I didn't have a lot of knowledge in. And so just kind of reading and reading and reading to understand what's actually making these sounds in these instruments. We stripped down a piano to where it's just the soundboard and the strings, and got some banjo finger picks and ended up playing the piano in a totally different way, which I think that accomplished a bunch of goals, because doing things that haven't been done before in sound, it's hard to do, but that's definitely a goal.
So what are you working on now during the pandemic?
My business partner and I, she's a choreographer, and a lot of what we do is this combination of dance plus music plus storytelling. And we both kind of found ourselves meeting on the phone, meeting on Zoom, trying to not meet on Zoom because we're all so tired of Zoom. And we kind of both came to the conclusion we couldn't really be productive on the things that we were able to be productive on before the pandemic. The thing that kind of rose in both of our minds is we want to do something to eliminate the health professionals' experience right now. They're very much, I mean, a lot of our friends are actually living separate from their families because they're working in hospitals right now. And a lot of their experience is something that we'll never understand and will follow them forever. So we were very interested in trying to amplify those voices in a way that was either healing or just informative or just at least sharing their experience. So we reached out to a couple of people who then also reached out to a couple of people and managed to amass 4 different health professionals in various places around the world to ask them to provide us one word or one phrase at the end of each of their shift. And we then gave those words to choreographers. And over the course of 5 days, those choreographers would devise with the word for the day to just see what that brought out in their bodies. And through some of those pieces, I've seen some of the most beautiful dancing in some of our choreographer friends I've seen. And we then took those pieces and I sat down and sound designed to them. Part of the process was kind of like, where do you even start? I had some microphones through my professor. There's a telephone microphone and an electromagnetic microphone, and these microphones pick up very small noises and kind of amplify them in ways so they were not noises that we're used to hearing at such volume. And recorded things like my coffee maker and the router and this spring on this lamp to create the soundscape that kind of matched what's going on for all of us while we're at home inside.
We're about to look at some additional footage of pandemic voices. Can you tell us where more of the videos can be seen?
Yes, they'll be living on our website shortly because we've just wrapped up our 5th and final installation, so they'll be ready to share soon.